Hey, sales champions, and welcome to Blackwater Academy's sales tips of the day. We're going to be building on what we did yesterday, which is, yesterday we are doing researching prospects. So today we're going to be looking into how to screen prospects and why it matters. So, way too many salespeople spend way too much time on prospects that are never going to be a great fit. Your research can help you with, of course, getting into it and like find out that whether somebody might be or might not be. But sometimes the research says they would be a good fit, but then you find out in the call that they're not. So you want to kind of get those things out of the way as soon as possible. So, like I said, today I'll be showing you how to screen them like a pro by asking the right questions early, save you all the time and energy and frustration, and then you can focus on the leads that are going to be more likely to convert. So let's dive in. And the first thing I want to share with you to help you along the way is a simple framework called BANT. So budget, authority, need, timeline. Now, this is a very good framework to use. It's very simple. It's one of the easiest way to screen a prospect. You want to look at their budget. Can they afford your solution? You want to look at, are you talking to the authority? He might look at that way on LinkedIn, but when you get into the call, it actually might be the CEO that needs to take the decision on this or someone else. You want to find out whether they have actually a need for the product or the service that you're selling them. And you want to know the timeline. Are they ready to move forward on this now, or is this something that is better dealt with down the road? So if a prospect checks all these boxes, you want to pursue them. So I will put this in the video description, and I recommend if you want to use this framework just to dot it down. And if they, like I say, check all the boxes, then they're worth pursuing. If not, it's probably time to move on. So keep this framework in mind during every call. It's simple, it's effective, and it keeps you focused on what matters. Now, let's go into the question. So what are you going to be asking them? Now, you're going to be using the BANT, definitely the framework. You can have them, go through it and, just see if they have the budget, they have the time, is this the authority? But what you can also go into is, for example, what challenges are you facing right now? You want to uncover those three things that we talked about. Is there a need? Is there a budget? Is this the decision maker? So when you ask them, like, what challenges are you facing right now? This will help you uncover their pain points and determine if your solution is a good fit. You know, um, for example, like we were talking about the other day about onboarding software. So if you're talking to the HR manager, you could ask them just a simple question, hey, what challenges are you having when you're onboarding people? Like, what are the biggest challenges that come your way or hurdles or whatever you want to word it as? And this will give you some idea of what value to show that your product or service is covering. How are you addressing these issues? Are you using a software already for onboarding? Are you using some sort of a service to do it for you even? What's your timeline on like a decision? You understand if this is like a short-term thing or down the road. Now, with this one, of course, you should know if you've been selling this for a while, if this is something that takes a long time or not to finish or get implemented. Like, if you're selling a SaaS software, you could probably, if they're not using anyone yet, this could be a pretty fast sale, especially if you have a free trial. Then this could be something that only takes one or two meetings for them to decide on and just take in. But if you look at like insurance brokerage, it might take a little bit longer because you have to look at what coverage do they have, what prices do they have, what's their business, what's their coverage that they need, and then you need to go out and find something to show them and some new prices and new coverages. So this might be like a 2, 3, 4 month process. What's your budget? Do you have a budget for this? Is there money to be had? This is just to avoid that when you start selling them the whole idea of this, like, do they want to spend money on this? If you're selling a high ticket item and you spend 4 or 5 meetings with them, 3 meetings, and a lot of work trying to figure out how this would work, and then you hit them with a with a price and they just go, "Oh, we don't have the budget for this." Then you just wasted your time, your colleagues' times, and their time. So, and figure out as well fast, like, you know make sure you're talking to the right person. Like, ask them, look, let's take a meeting next week. I'd love to dive deeper into this. It sounds like you're interested as well. Doesn't that sound fair enough? They go, sure. You set the time and then you ask them, like, look, I just want to ask to make sure that we don't waste your time or my time. Are there other people at your company you think would be valuable to have at this meeting? Some other people that need to be in on this decision. And they will tell you and they will invite them. You could even, if you feel uncomfortable asking them if there are other decision makers, like that you might be minimizing their role, you could just ask them, like, look, if you feel like somebody else should be involved in this call as well, feel free to invite anyone you want. And then they can take the decision themselves. So these questions won't only just help you qualify the prospects, but they also position yourself as you look, you're interested in solving their problem. And you're not just there to try to make a sale. You're trying to see if it's an actually genuine fit. And the beauty with that is a lot of the times when you get a client where you've done this kind of work, they will give you references. And references are worth their weight in gold because then you already have a very, very kind of big in with them because you have a reference that pointed you in their direction. The last thing I want to maybe go into a little bit here is like a bonus tip, which would be respect their time. Now, what I mean by that is you want to be qualifying them, you want to be looking into them, and one of the reasons for that is exactly as what I mentioned here, which is respecting their time, respecting their session, they have a life, they have a job, they have other things they got to do. So, but it doesn't mean that you got to interrogate them. So have a conversation. I love to make people laugh on calls. I have, like I mentioned in other videos, make jokes that I use that I know hit. And you also want to be, when you start the call, just respectful that you give them that time constraint. So, for example, hi, John, my name is Bjarni. I'm calling for company X. I wanted to make sure this company, call would be worth your time. So can I just ask you a few questions to see if we're even a good fit? Do you have like 2 minutes for me? This will also show him that you're not just going to go into the monotonous sales script and just through the motion and hope he says yes. And you're also telling him, look, I'm not going to keep you on the phone for 30 minutes. This shows you you're mindful of their schedule. You're setting the stage for a productive conversation. And if they say no, I don't have time right now, then just ask, look, that's perfectly fine. I understand. I'm kind of calling out of the blue. When would be a good time to speak? And then you can kind of set a meeting almost right there where he will have time and actually be able to concentrate. So when you're respectful of the prospects, they're more likely to open up and share information that you need to qualify them. So in closing, let's recap real fast. Screening prospects saves time and focuses your energy on the best leads. Using these key questions to qualify prospects, you can make your own. It's your product, your service. It might be a little bit different. You can figure out. You can figure out their needs, their budget, the decision-making authority. Use the BANT if you need a simple framework. It's an effective tool for prioritizing leads. If they check all the boxes, then this is definitely someone you should pursue. Always respect the prospect's time and keep the conversation natural. So this is the video for this Sunday. I'm really looking forward to hitting this week, and I know you guys are too. We're gonna have set us a goal here on the channel of doing 30 calls a day. So let's hit it. If this video helped you, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, share it with someone that you think could benefit from it. We've been doing a lot of the foundation this week. We'll be going into deeper subjects this coming week and in the near future. And if you're ready, look, if you want to take your cold calling skills to the next level, check out my Udemy course. It's in the channel description. And let's crush those calls this week. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for more tips. Thank you so much. Have a good one.